Hey, welcome. It is Wednesday night, and it's time for the Horse Syndicate Discourse. We've got a pretty decent show for you tonight, and something a little bit different that we've never really done before. Nate had the idea that he picked two films that, first of all, I had never heard of, and none of us had ever seen, as I believe is what happened here. And we're going to do this once a month for now on for a while, however long. But we're talking about two movies from the early 1970s, Assignment Terror, which has another title, and I'm blanking. It's like Frankenstein versus Dracula or something like that. And then the other one is 10 Rillington Place, which is, I believe, based on true events. So a couple different things to talk about. We'll talk about the Assignment Terror first because this is weird because one's kind of goofy and one is like ultra serious, and it's just two totally tonally different films that we talked or that we kind of watched this week, and one of them was a struggle to get through on my part, and the other one was pretty good. So I'll bring in the rest of the crew, and Nate's gonna do. I think he's got some Amazon reviews for us. I'm not 100% sure. But I've got Jared Laterno, and are you bringing Bloody Streaming Roulette back?
Oh, that is a definite.
So if you are been following the Horror Syndicate since 2016, Jared used to do this thing called Bloody Streaming Roulette, where he'd randomly pick a movie. You tell him, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, he already kind of said it. Basically, I we have a few more streaming platforms than we did back in 2016, but basically, I would just blindly pick a movie that I hadn't seen and I would review it. I wouldn't even read the synopsis. I would just scroll through my unwatched list and just pick and play, and then I would review it, and we'd have a winner or a loser.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Tubi's a game changer too, because Tubi's got more horror movies than I think Shutter does, and you know how much I love Shutter. So yeah, it's good to have that back. That was always a great segment. I always look forward to reading those. Uh, then we've got bring Seth on in. Seth, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
I'm good. Jared's good. Bloody Streaming Roulette's coming back, so that's good. Um,
It's a
what
cool
have you
idea.
got? Yeah, he came up with that on his own. What a good dude. What do you got in the pipeline coming up?
Oh, for THS.
Yeah, for the website, thehorrorsyndicate.com. If you've never been, go. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I got a whole list of stuff. I did start a review for Daybreakers. I got about halfway through it, and then of course, marathoned all the subspecies movies for that article I just did. So I put my Daybreakers review on hold. But I got a bunch of stuff. Deep Rising, I want to do. I want to cover a lot of monster movies, that type of stuff.
Yeah, and speaking of monster movies, coming up in October, there'll be plenty of monster movies to talk about during the show because we're going to cover a lot of old Universal horror type monster movies in October. So look forward to that. Also, we have Nathan Thomas Miller as usual. Nate, how you doing?
Doing good.
All right. So what do you got going on? Anything? You feeling better?
Yes. Sorry, I think I got a shitty connection again.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well,
I'm tired and sore, but I'm good.
yeah. Well, how did so? Let's talk about this first. Let me ask, how did you come up with these two titles?
Well, I just started with 1970, 1971, and I Googled best horror films of 1970 and started going down that list. So I ran into one I hadn't seen, and Assignment Terror was the first one I hadn't seen. And then did 71, and Sid Rillington Place was the first one that came up. So uh, whoever made that top 10 70s list was out of their mind. But um, hey, we got one really good movie out of this that I'm pretty happy about, excited to talk about.
Well, we'll talk about Assignment Terror first, which I have literally almost nothing to say about that movie. Uh,
It was an
but
assignment just to get through it.
yeah, it was Assignment Terror. Yeah.
I've
Um,
actually watched it twice, just
oh,
so
you did?
because I think I was kind of zoned out the first time I watched it, like, and then I was like, let me give it another chance. Now I will say, like, I've never watched Paul Naschy before, none of his films,
Hmm.
and that's who wrote this movie and stars in it, and he's
He's got a
a
big following though
Spanish,
too.
a huge following. I didn't know about him until maybe 12 years ago or so.
Hmm.
In fact, I had to draw him for Horror Hound magazine. We were doing an article, and he came up, and I had to have him fighting against Pumpkinhead, or no, what was it? It was Paul Nash. Oh, he was fighting the Blind Dead.
Oh,
So I had to draw his werewolf fighting the Blind Dead, and I had never heard of him. And this was the first Paul Nash movie I ever saw, and it's probably like maybe the worst one I should start with because his werewolf. He's the best thing about the movie. The werewolf's fucking fantastic,
hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's what he's known for, playing that part. And this was the third time he played the werewolf, and it's like usually he's the main character, and he's not the main character in this movie. So it, like, really makes me want to watch Paul's other movies, and he's made over 100 movies. And
Yeah.
but like right after this was on Tubi. I think the next one that he played, the Wolf Man or werewolf, was about to come on, and I'm like, I want to watch that one. I want to see if Tubi has a bunch of the Paul Naschy movies. So I'd like to
They
maybe look
probably
up
do.
what fans. I want to look at what fans say are the go-to movies for him, and try to see if those are out there to stream.
I know Screen
But
Factory released a couple of collections of his.
yeah, but yeah, the movie. I guess we'll describe the movie. It's like an alien race that's coming to Earth to, I guess, take over Earth, but they take on the personifications of the bodies of dead scientists. And one of them's kind of a Dr. Frankenstein, but they don't use the name Frankenstein for copyright reasons.
Yeah.
And it's
Valkyrie.
weird because they like bring in Dracula's, Count Dracula and the Mummy and the Wolf Man and not Frankenstein's monster to study how humans are afraid of monsters, and that's what they're studying to maybe be able to use these monsters to take over the world. It's really fucking weird plot, uh, but yeah, it's a chore to get through for the first. But it has some moments where it's got that Euro trash kind of vibe to it a bit, and it has some moments that, like, there's one part where there's a cop in the movie, and he's got the girl that he's making out with in the bed, and he's on the phone, and he's like, get dressed, put your clothes on, and then he's like, yeah, get dressed, and he keeps saying get dressed too. It's really fun. I actually had to record it on my phone because it made me laugh so much.
I know what you're talking
Probably
about.
the worst Frankenstein's monster, and yeah, it cracks me up. This movie's got the worst Frankenstein monster I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know why they're using that to sell this movie.
It kind of reminded me of a C version of Peter Boyle.
It's like Warren Beatty is a monster. It's a monster.
Right.
He's really sleepy. He never opens his eyes
the entire time.
Yeah,
it's like they glued them together. There's one part he made me laugh where he first resurrects and he leaves the room and they watch him leave the room and he like hits like this lever that opens the door and he walks through it and he hits the lever again so it closes and it just was funny that the monster who in this movie is totally mindless, I guess. It's like hitting levers to open Star Trek doors and close.
I had so much trouble watching this movie. I barely remember anything from it, to be honest. It was just like I could not concentrate on watching this movie for some reason.
Well, anybody else got something to say? I mean, I got a few things, but what else? What did everybody else
Well,
think?
did you do the reviews?
I got one review I could read after we since there's not a lot to say. I'll read the review.
Probably not.
But what does Seth and Jared have to say
Go ahead, Seth.
about it?
Well, just like you, my really only positive is Paul Nashi or Belushi, whatever his name is. I feel like if I saw this movie when I was younger, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately it's like they took bits from Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, The House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, put them in a blender, and then prematurely took the top off the blender, and shit just went everywhere. You know what I mean? It was a little too familiar with some of those old Universal movies without being as good. The score is totally mismatched. It was like a I don't know, like you'd expect that in like a sitcom, a comedy sitcom on TV or something like that.
Austin Powers or something.
Yeah, it just didn't.
It was very 60s, just swinger.
Swinging, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. And like right as it ended, the next one was starting to play The Fury of the Wolfman. And I was so tempted to just keep watching it, but I had to watch, of course, a better movie for sure. The one we're going to be talking about next. But yeah,
Have you watched any of the? I was wondering, have you watched the Nashi werewolf movies? Is this your first one?
This was my first one, and I've been wanting to for a while because I've heard of him, and I know that he's known for playing the Wolfman multiple times. So that's why, like, I'm actually grateful that you chose this because it kind of kicked me in gear. Like, okay, I need to check out more of his because the movie's terrible, but he wasn't bad, and I'm just curious about his other stuff as that type of character.
Yeah, I want to see because he did a hell of a. He did it. You can see he's completely committed to it. Like he really gives it everything. And apparently, like Paul was like, Paul saw, I think, what was the Universal Frankenstein versus Wolfman? Was that what it was?
Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
He saw that when he was a kid, and that made him want to do that. And he did play like everybody. He played the Wolfman, the monster, vampires. He played Jack the Ripper. I watched a special on YouTube, but like a 6-minute thing of John Landis and Joe Dante talking about him. And they said this guy, he loved it, and that's what he wanted to do. And he wrote, he directed, he starred. And but that Wolfman, you just tell, like, and that's some of the things I appreciated in it were like there's that scene where he transforms into the Wolfman, and they do in that hallway.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell only one time you could see where they cut, but you could see that they're doing it where as he's coming down the hallway, he's turning, and he's getting more wolfed out, and they did a kind of clever stuff to pull that off. But my favorite part of the whole movie is when he fights the mummy.
Yeah, that was cool.
I really enjoyed that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays like Wheel of Fortune with him. He puts him in that wheel.
Yeah.
Some sort of shit there. But I liked that fight. I thought it was really cool. And the mummy was cool. It was a female mummy. And the mummy was putting the hurt on him too, And what I thought was funny is the movie's alternate title is Dracula versus Frankenstein, and those two never fight.
At all.
The cop kills Dracula.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not much. I think I feel the same way. Like I'm glad I watched it because now I saw what Paul Nashi does.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to watch his other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
How
nice.
you, Jared?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's funny that Seth made a reference to Belushi because he does kind of resemble Belushi a little bit.
Yeah.
First thing I thought of when I saw his face.
I mean, I've seen worse movies. Don't get me wrong. I think we all have, but this was kind of a turd. For some reason, the music and that weird theme song that kept circulating reminded me of the early Bond movies because that investigator has a total Bond complex. Stands at the bar, he orders himself a vodka, stares at the guy that's a vampire.
Yeah.
Give me a
So even that
double.
scene where he's saying the girl to get dressed is very Bond. Like, oh, get dressed. He's like sleeping. It's on his case, but he's sleeping with the chicks.
And
yeah, he did have a
I'm
Bond.
glad you guys like thought that too at least a little bit because at the end when he killed Dracula, spoiler alert. Like I had this whole Mystery Science Theater thing where he's like James Bond, vampire killer. I don't know why, but that was the only thing keeping me awake when I was watching is just seeing what that guy would do. Because they feel like they totally typecasted him as like a Bond kind of investigator, like very smooth, like I'm the ladies' man guy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for the most part, it was a turd. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse movies. Yeah, I'm so much. I feel a little let down because I watched the next movie we're going to talk about first, and then I watched this. Probably should have did it in opposite order, but yeah, I think it's an interesting way. Like I know we won't be able to do it every time, but like opposite ends of the spectrum. Like yeah, this one might be good. This one might be terrible. We never know.
We had talked about doing bad movies. Like keep picking movies we like. I mean, every once in a while we get one where some of us like it, some of us don't. But we talked about getting a turd for a while. So Ray, you got any thoughts? I know you didn't really have anything to say.
I had a hard time sitting through it. I watched it on YouTube, and I don't know if it was a bad copy or if it was cut weird or what, but I just couldn't focus on watching that movie for some reason, and it was all over the place, and I don't know. I'll never watch that movie again, probably. I don't really have much to say about it.
Oh no, I'll never watch it again. But yeah, it's it's a movie. It's an experience.
Wow. We can put that one down on watched.
Yeah, it's on my list now of movies I've watched, but I don't remember if I finished it. I feel like I did, but like it was like an endurance competition trying to watch that movie, you know?
Sounded like it may have been kind of a mess because I think they had two different directors. One director either was fired or just walked away towards the end of the shoot. And apparently Paul was very controlling and would get very upset with the way things were going. I think he wasn't happy with this movie, and he had a habit of yelling at other screenwriters and things like that. Although he wrote this one.
It's like working with Umberto Lenzi. Yeah, well, yeah, it was an experience, you know. I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about it.
I'll read the.
I was sitting.
Let me read the review for that.
Say about this movie, huh? What?
Sorry, it's breaking up for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard of this movie. Have you guys ever heard of Cinemassacre.com?
Yeah.
Okay, so James, he does during October, he does Monster Madness every year. I love it, and he's introduced me to a lot of different horror films, and this one was one of the ones. But he was like, "Stay away from this one," and I remember the title really well. But I guess it's kind of like checking that box, though. So it was an experience. Helena watched it with me. I didn't get to tell you guys that. Helena watched it with me, and she just kept looking at me. She's like, "What are we watching?" And I'm like, "I don't know, honey. This this movie is I don't know what to say about it. Do you like it?" She's like, "Can we watch something else?" I was like, "I have to watch this. I have to watch it." And
this is horror homework.
Yeah, this is exactly it's horror homework. And so yeah, she actually because she likes watching giallos with me. Like one of her favorites is The Red Queen Kills Seven Times, and she watches that stuff with me. And I don't know. I may give another one of his movies a shot because I'm curious to see if The Fury of the Werewolf will show up on one of Seth's lists. So you definitely have to watch that and review it, Seth.
I will.
demand this. I demand it.
I will.
All right.
It's funny because I expected to actually be on the show loving this one because it's like right up my alley. Like when I heard they were doing these, like I was kind of like, all right, I'll watch the other one, but I really expected to love the monster movie, and not really the case.
That's okay. So I guess you won't be getting the Scream Factor Paul Naschy collection, huh? There's like 2 or 3 of them, I think.
I think there's
Right,
2.
who knows?
I can't imagine this movie would be on that. Good God.
I don't know.
I would like to see a cleaned up version of it because I mean it was like the colors were very faded, like actors were kind of like cropped out, like
yeah. I think I want to check the Tubi version. Here I go. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna end up watching it again. Why do I do this to myself? But I was gonna say, I wonder if the YouTube version is like a cam something. It looked like shit. It looked really bad.
Well, I watched it on Tubi, and it's not very good on Tubi either.
Okay, so then I'll take the pass then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just saved your life, buddy.
Exit.
Before we move on, yeah, thank you for saving my life. I don't need to get lost in that movie again. Nate, before we go to the next movie, because this one I know we're going to spend more time on. Do you have a review for this? One of these?
I do. There were only 50.
Now we lost him. Son of a bitch.
Oh shit.
He told me that. Well, you guys saw the text. I'm sure that there aren't very many reviews for this movie, and what are you supposed to do if there are not very many reviews? All right, Nate, you ready? You good?
I guess. Okay.
Tell us how bad this movie is.
All right. Actually, we have a 5-star review for this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Shocker. Okay. But it's so funny. I was like, I have to read this one. Okay. This is from Casey on Amazon, who gave, what is the movie called again? Assignment Terror 5 stars. Casey writes,
I don't know why.
love all old black and white movies.
What?
It's not black and white.
It's not black and white.
Need to add more Cary Grant and William Powell movies. And I must be able to watch them without having to also pay. I paid $99 on 1 to 21/18. Can you check my account? I'm using Fire Stick, but I'm changing to Apple TV in a few days. Casey.
Did he make 99 cents?
On this movie.
That's was that a child that wrote that? You got a bad one for me? Come on, tell me you got a bad one for me. Was that it?
That was it. There was one funny review, and the rest of them were just that. And I just thought it's funny because they're bitching about having to pay for old movies. It's like, I've seen that from a few people where people are like, "Why should I have to pay for old movies? They should be free."
All old
like I'm doing Casablanca a favor by watching it.
Should be free.
Old movie, it should be free.
Let's do this.
Dude, this movie's old. Why did I pay for this?
We've all seen this movie now, and I want to do this with these movies that we're blind picking or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go around the table, and I just want to recommend or don't recommend. Jared, do you recommend this or not recommend it?
I don't even recommend it for a good time. No.
Not a party movie, then, is what you're telling me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nate, You're a little bit easier on movies sometimes, so I gotta know. Do you
I'm
recommend
a
it or
little
don't recommend it?
easier. Uh,
A
I'm
little
sure
bit more
this movie has.
forgiving.
Yeah, I'm sure like was it Jared who said like if I was younger I don't like it or Ray I don't remember, but
I
I
agree
think
with that. I think Jared said it.
yeah I think there's probably a lot of young people who saw that movie in 1970 because this was kind of still in vogue for 1970. This is before Texas Chainsaw and The Exorcist and all that
Yeah,
shit.
but it's also
So
after Hammer. So like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, but it's also that some people just really love that European exploitation
I do,
kind of.
but I didn't like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I think if I were to recommend it, and I don't think I do, I don't think I don't know how many people would enjoy it unless like this is their bag, which there are people who like this type of thing. I would say watch the last 20 minutes, and that's all you need.
Yeah, you
Watch
don't need any of
the
the exposition or anything like that, or
yeah,
you definitely don't
just
need to get to know the
watch
characters.
Paul Nash. Wait, fast forward to Paul turning into a wolf man and kicking Mummy's ass, and then you can stop.
Cool. Also, watch the scene in bed when the cop is like, yeah. So that's all you need to
Yeah,
watch.
like get dressed. You get
Get
dressed.
dressed. Come on,
And
get
she's like,
dressed.
"Do you like?" And then she says this line like, "Don't you like me in freckles?"
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I like your freckles." But this is a weird line. Who don't you like me in freckles?
It's well, it's a Spanish Italian movie. Also, I think I saw Italian in there somewhere, didn't I? And you know how
Yeah,
I feel
they
about
shot it in
Italian
Egypt
movies.
as well. You know what the
Oh,
budget
there you go.
on this movie was? If I
I don't
remember
even want
right,
to know. What was it?
I believe it was $1 million.
Oh my God, not well
But that
spent.
had to be for travel
Right.
to
Okay.
Egypt.
Wow.
Seth, recommend or don't recommend?
Well, I'm an
Here we go.
asshole. I'm an asshole, so I'm gonna say I recommend it. Go watch it, everybody.
It's on
You'll
YouTube and
enjoy it.
Tubi. Go
You'll
check
have
it
a
out.
fun time. Just bring some beer with you.
Bring some beer, smoke a bowl, whatever you got to do to get through it.
That's right. But I'm an asshole, and I'm gonna recommend it.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So assignment terror, we get 3 don't recommends and 1 recommend. It's on Tubi if you want to see it. It's also on YouTube. It also goes by the name of Dracula versus Frankenstein and a Spanish title, Los Monstruos del Terror.
There's
All
like
right,
9
so
titles for this thing.
Yeah, well, that's like Italians, man. Like a zombie. I was
Yeah.
reading one of Jared's old articles on Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2, and he lists every title, and there's like 12 of them for a movie simply called Zombie. You know. Anyway, so next we got a movie that was actually really well done, and Richard Attenborough is like just fucking chilling in this movie. I mean, cold as ice. It's shot well. It's got William Hurt in it, who I love. And I don't know if you guys were watching it, and if you closed your eyes for a second, he sounded like Ewan McGregor to me, which I never like noticed that in watching anything from William Hurt when he was younger. I kept seeing like if they remake this, get Obi-Wan to play that role. It's based off of a true story. Which is really fucking creepy if that's the case. It's called 10 Rillington Place. Let's get into it. It was a good movie. This was a good one, Nate.
Hell yeah.
You chose a good one. So let's first, Jared. Let me ask you, what are your
this was
first impressions
fantastic.
of this one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, you kind of headed it off really well. Like John Hurt's kind of young, or sorry, yeah, Hurt's kind of young in this. Definitely one of his better roles, just because he plays shy but boisterous simpleton. You know, like he does both so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, even in 1970, he's a hell of an actor, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of run through what the movie's about. So, John Hurt and his wife and their young child move into a subletted apartment that's ran by Mr. Christie, that's played by Richard Attenborough. He lives on the first floor. He's kind of a weird guy. You kind of get that vibe very early on.
Well, I mean, the beginning of the movie, he does what he does. Yeah, all right, I don't know if they're throwing spoilers out. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I mean, he's acting like he's a doctor and trying to help this woman with migraines or something, or is that just the one at the end? Maybe
That was
he
the
kills
one
her,
at the
strangles
end.
her, and he gets off on it.
The first lady had a different affliction. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, they move in. You know, it seems like a nice place to live. They can't go out to the garden. Cannot go out to the garden though.
Where they're buried.
But I mean, it's one of those movies. Unless you know about the subject matter, which I did kind of because I'm kind of a true crime nut, so I did know a little bit about it. The one thing I wanted to know about this movie is how have we not fucking heard of this movie before now?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good question.
Wow, this is a really good fucking movie, guys.
Yeah, I guess because I mean it's a British crime, and you know there's a lot of British crimes that we don't know about over here, but it's like pretty legendary in London.
Okay. Let me just throw this out. I know you guys hate me for this, but it doesn't come up as a horror movie. But now hold on before you start. You know, oh, it's a horror movie. It was a horror movie completely. Like edge of your seat type of movie. You know, you didn't know like the calm and cool demeanor of Richard Attenborough's character. He's such a fucking creep, and he does it so well. You know, up until the very end of the movie. But yeah, I think that's probably why this one's not come up in horror circles, is because of it not being labeled as a horror movie, which is like Silence of the Lambs, and some other movies are not labeled like that. What do you think? You got something?
That's what's interesting. Well, that's what it was interesting. You say Silence of the Lambs because he reminded me of Hopkins a bit, and you know he directed Hopkins a few years after this in Magic. Attenborough did. But that calm, quiet voice, which was John Christie, he said that he spoke that way and he didn't like loud noises because of in the war. Like a lot of his stuff was bullshit, but like he said that he spoke really soft and quiet because of I guess PTSD at that time. You know, didn't call it that then, but. So he has this really calm, emotionless delivery. Like he does these horrible things, and there's like absolutely no feeling at all about until he's in the act of it. And what it is, like John Christie murdered like 10 people in reality, and what it was he was impotent.
Weren't they all women? Yeah, I was gonna say, weren't they all women?
Yeah, they were all. Well, one of them was the baby, but he never confessed to killing the baby. But yeah, he was impotent from childhood, like when he was young, and people made fun of him for it, and he was bullied about it, and he actually was able to have sexual. I guess he was actually able to. He had sex with these women after he killed them.
Strong, hard, and cocksure.
And I guess that was the only way he was able to. I guess that was the only way he was able to get it up. I guess was when he murdered these women. And I mean, we see it kind of in the movie. It's not graphic, but we can tell he's kind of raping them.
Yeah, well, he took great pleasure in what he was doing, though. You know, like I think like talking about him being impotent, and he may have that might have gotten where he was going. You know.
Yeah, he So what they were talking about at the beginning, his MO was that he would pretend to be. He said he knew about medicine, and he would have went into medicine. So he would actually offer help, assist medical help to these people, and he would tell them that part of his procedure he had to like put anesthesia, like breathe this in, and basically he was gassing them and killing them, and then he would basically get off suffocating them.
Yeah,
you could tell like when they would start to realize that this wasn't right and that they were dying, that was when he would get excited. And so the plot is, like Jared was saying, John and his wife, John Hurt's character moves in with his wife, and he kills the guy's wife, but he does it by saying she gets pregnant and they don't want another baby because they don't have any money. they already have one child, I think, didn't they?
Yeah,
Or
that's
yeah,
a
they
baby
have one
girl, too.
baby, and they have a baby on the way, so she's gonna abort it. He says he can do that, and of course he does it. He really kills her because once she knows what's happening, he has to beat her to death, and he's able to talk John Hurt into confessing because John Hurt's such a simpleton, so naive that
Yeah,
he takes the fall for it. And this guy's so smart and calculating and everything that he's able to get away with it, basically. Even when he goes to court and they're saying, "Oh, he told me, he lied to me," but because John Hurt's character's so dim and had already confessed and just comes off as a liar, that was the reason Attenborough did the movie. Apparently, was that he was a big advocate for capital punishment. He did not agree with capital punishment, and this case actually got capital punishment nixed in England because John Hurt's character did get hung for
Unjustly.
this crime, and then they found out that it was unjustified. So this case actually got capital punishment like taken out in England.
it was this case for real.
And this
That's
case,
crazy.
yeah. And so that was why Attenborough wanted to do it. And Attenborough had never played a character like this, and he didn't like playing the character. But at the same time, he said he felt more connected to this character than he had. Like he was really channeled into it, and I really dug it. I thought it was frightening. I would put it up there with Psycho in some ways. It's not Hitchcock. It's not Hitchcock,
No,
but it's.
no.
I would put it in that category of Psycho and Peeping Tom. And Richard Fleischer, who made the film, the director, also made The Boston Strangler with Tony Curtis and Henry Fonda, which is a really good film. I think a few years earlier than this. And that was a big influence on Confession of Fred Krueger, because a lot of that Boston Strangler movie is Henry Fonda interrogating Tony Curtis. And but this guy Fleischer was known for making kids movies. He made like Dr. Dolittle and shit. But he had always wanted to make this movie. But apparently in England, you can't make a movie about a true crime unless 50 years have passed since the crime. And he had wanted to tell this story, but that got dropped right before they were able to make this movie. And they actually filmed this movie in the location where it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
crazy. They talk about on location.
Yeah. Well, he goes, there were some sets because the house was so small.
Right.
The rooms were small.
Yeah.
But also another cool thing is once they were done filming it, because the house was abandoned, there's some squatters in there. Attenborough said there was squatters living in there. Right after they finished filming, they demolished it. The city demolished it because they didn't want treasure hunters and all that coming there to get stuff out of it and all that. So that the whole place was torn down, and they renamed the street too. They just erased it.
Just like they renamed Camp Blood. They just leave things Sorry.
There's a documentary about the real case, a two-parter on YouTube that I watched today.
I was gonna say there's on
And
Discovery Plus. I think had a documentary about this. So it might be the same one.
There was like a 15-minute video on YouTube of Attenborough talking about the movie in a row.
Oh no, that's not the same thing then. Well. I think. Well, Seth, what about you, man? If you guys give me a second, I got to use the bathroom. I've been drinking a lot of water. But Seth, you talk about your experience with it, please.
Water.
Yeah, so this one actually quite surprised me. To be honest with you, when I went to go put it on, I wasn't really feeling the mood to watch something new. My mind was just kind of scattered, and so I was like, I don't really want to watch this right now, but I will. And once it got going, man, I really got into it. It it remind like I don't want to use a comparison between the two movies, but there are similarities to like this and like Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy, which came out a year later. And
Yeah.
I say that in a good way because I felt like this one had at least a more sympathetic lead character who I actually felt bad for, whereas in Frenzy I didn't care if that guy lived or died or whatever. But this one was really like both of the performances are incredible. John Hurt, especially when when everything goes down, you know, once he realizes what's happening, and Richard Attenborough at the same time when he's like very calmly just sort of controlling the whole situation and sort of.
And that's why he believed him too.
Right. He really backed him into a corner. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like, well, you could call the police, but, you know, who are they going to believe? And like, he was very convincing in that moment. And I didn't know this was based on a true story. And, you know, I realized like by the end of it, it really was. And it kind of makes all that more powerful that, you know, the John Hurt character really did get hanged. And it was only like after, you know, that he was pardoned, you know, and his pardon is, oh, he gets to be buried now in
yeah,
you know, it's like,
what a reward,
you know, and it's just like it, you know, it had there was one really good moment of suspense, of course, when Attenborough was going to do the abortion with the wife, and you know, of course, then there's the builders that are coming in, and then when he's actually doing it, there's that one friend of the family who was coming up. That was a good moment of suspense, and the whole thing with the baby, I wasn't really expecting that. For some reason, I really took Attenborough at his word that there was a couple that he was going to give the baby to. You know what I mean?
I did too. I totally did too.
Yeah, and then he grabbed the tie and he walked out, and you hear the baby crying. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they did that in 1970. You know, like holy shit.
Yeah, but this was, you know, that's the thing. This is a 1970s movie. I know Nate knows this. It's like this was a time where you could have characters that are not entirely likable, you know what I mean, or very flawed. And one of the things I really liked about that is with what they did with the John Hurt character. I don't know how much is the actual true man and how much was exaggerated for this this particular film, but you know, just the idea of we know he's innocent, and you could tell that he's trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, he's got a lot of stuff stacked up against him because he does have an anger problem. And there were a lot of witnesses to the big fight that he had, and you know, then he lied to the police at first because he was trying to protect Christie. You know what I mean? So like all these things were like just really stacked against him, even though he was innocent. And there was almost like a back and forth moment in the court scene where it's like there's times where I'm like, okay, you know, they're gonna, again, because I didn't know anything about this story at all, the true story. I was like, okay, there's gonna be a point where they're gonna see where he's innocent and Christie is the guilty one. And it kind of seemed like there was a back and forth where it was like the lawyers or whatever were kind of like questioning the validity of both of those characters. And, you know, but in the end, it was, you know, the main character's own flaws that worked against them. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And like I said, he wasn't a perfect guy because he go to the bar and he brag about women and cheating on his wife and all these things. Yeah. And he just didn't have a good reputation. But Hurt, there's a few actors, like when he's catching like the moments where he's not saying anything, but when he's hearing what other people are telling him or what's transgressing in front of him, and the look on John Hurt's face of, oh my God, I'm fucked. Like, oh, what is this really happening? They're doing this to me. I'm helpless here. I am such an idiot, and he does all this on his just his. I mean, you watch Alien and you see that. Like, there's something about him in Alien where he's just he's got this face, and he's you feel so bad for him in Alien. You feel really bad for him in this. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess that's maybe why he got cast as Elephant Man.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, he's got a very.
he's a hell of an actor. He always.
He's a hell of an actor. Yeah, I like watching this movie. Like watching his emotions play out in that scene where he finds out his wife's dead and all, and all that stuff. Just watching, like, I don't know if it was makeup effects or if it was him, but his eyes were red and like he looked like he was torn apart at that moment. And like he's a really great. He's fantastic.
Here's the baby's dead. Like he's finding out right there. Like the audience knows, he doesn't know his baby's dead, and the cops just kind of say it like because they think he knows he killed his baby.
Yeah.
And so he's coming in there and he's already distraught. Then he finds out that his child's dead. And
Clothing
there's got to be
remains of
confusion,
one
but also that,
female
oh my
child.
God, that fucking guy killed my baby. He's got to realize that,
And he had nothing left. That's why he went to the cops, right?
Yeah, that's why he started like backtracking, because he realized like, well, fuck, I have nobody to protect in life, and this guy's ruined me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is such a great movie and really great performances and good writing and good.
I'm telling you,
intriguing
Attenborough
characters.
is one of the most chilling characters I've never ever seen on screen. Seriously,
Yeah.
lack of emotion. Doesn't seem like he has any empathy. Like he just, great performance.
And
that's the thing that blew me away
never-
with the two performances.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him like that at all. Like I know him from like The Great Escape and of course Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
and
Park, yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street. I mean, it's fucking Santa Claus, man. It's like,
cold, calculating killer. I mean, he was fantastic in this movie. Got to be one of his best performances. Got to be.
and the fact that he's someone who was, an advocate against the death penalty, and like he didn't like, it's like he wasn't dying to play this character, but fully committed to it, man. Like this is just a chilling, believable performance.
I feel like there's something about the way he was talking, how calm and collected and very like quiet. I feel like there's a sense of like power that somebody that can do that has over other people. Very convincing, because he was very convincing, talking to, like, even when I was listening to it, like I wasn't convinced because I knew what happened, but you know what I'm saying? Like I was sitting there like, God, yeah, I could see how this guy who can't read, who he's kind of a shithead character, William Hurt's character. Thanks, Jared. William Hurt's character. I can see why he'd believe him. I mean, like he's talking down to somebody below his station in a way, Plus, he's had years of practice because obviously he's been lying about everything he does all his life. You find that out as the story unwinds.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about it is his.
Oh,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Seth. Nate. He's like, fuck it, I'll just leave.
That was the interesting thing about it. I mean, this is not a movie where a whole lot happens action-wise, but like just the manipulation that Christie had over John Hurt's character, was like very powerful, and it kind of sucked me in. It glued me in. It was like he was confident, and he was, like I said, cold and calculating, and
Well, that, and I think like there's a lot to this movie. Like I watched it yesterday, and I honestly went in like, I don't really want to watch this at all, and I watched it, and from the opening scene when he is trying to help that lady, that's when you're drawn into that character. It's almost like Nate said something about Psycho, Norman Bates, watching the way Norman Bates is in Psycho, but like, and then he buries like, just God, what, like, seriously, like that was one of the most chilling performances I've seen in a movie in a long time. I can't believe we've been sleeping on this for 50 years. You know?
Yeah, right.
I'm completely dumbfounded how I had not ever heard of this movie. I want to say that lady's first affliction was the recovering effects of tuberculosis, but I can't
Yeah,
remember.
because she was coughing. She talked
Yeah,
about
I can't
coughing. Yeah,
remember.
that's right. Or did she have COVID?
But you guys hit the nail on the head. Like I kind of knew the story because I'm kind of a big true crime nut, but he was so fucking awkward but charming at the same time. He even got the wife to come back for a cup of tea. Oh, it's fine. I got boiling water ready. What? Okay. Well, I didn't know you were gonna make tea for me. Like that would be my impression. Like, okay, enjoy your tea. Have a good night. Like, are they just worried about being rude? Like, oh, you got a cup of tea ready? Okay, let's have some tea.
Yeah, fantastic. One of the best performances of the '70s, in my opinion, is Richard Attenborough in this, and William Hurt really great. I got to be honest. Also, if I almost didn't even recognize William Hurt when I first started watching it because I don't pay attention to the credits.
John Hurt.
John, whatever.
It's John.
It's John. Yeah, William Hurt is he's Thunderbolt Ross.
Right.
And he's dead.
I know. I kind of messed that up too, but yeah, it's John.
Yeah. Anyway, we got it now. Mr. Hurt. He was in the last Indiana Jones movie.
It was funny because I had to actually check last night because like right after I watched the movie, I put a post about it on Facebook, and right before I hit post, I was like, I need to double check to make sure I got the right Hurt here.
Yeah, there's too many Hurts in Hollywood. Actually, you know what a fun movie might be is one of William Hurt's movies, Altered States.
That's a good.
We should talk about that sometime. Nate, have you ever seen that? Seth?
I haven't seen it.
It's a fucked up movie. I like it. I did.
It's bizarro. Oh, now he's gone. While we're on the topic of this movie, did you guys see that the BBC did a mini series of this, and that Tim Roth plays Christie's character?
Didn't know that.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, I think it was in 2016.
I gotta see that. Tim Roth's one of my.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Shit, Tim Roth's my guy. Yeah. I gotta see that.
And then
what's it called, Jared? Because I want to see if
it's streaming. It's the same name. Same name? Rillington Place.
Let me see if it's streaming anywhere.
Is it?
It's a BBC
online
miniseries, and it has.
I'm checking, Nate. What year did it come out? Do you know, Jared?
2016. Had one season. So Tim Roth plays John Christie. Samantha Morton plays Ethel Christie, his wife.
I love Samantha too.
The big one that got me was the one that plays Beryl, and that's Jodie Comer. She played the bride in The Duel, or The Last Duel. She's
What
else was she in? She was in Killing Eve. And she was also the badass in that guy.
Yeah, Free Guy. That's what I just saw her in. Yeah.
So Nate, it's you can get it. You can watch it on Vudu for $2, Amazon Video for $2, or YouTube for $2.
That's probably per episode.
That's probably per episode, but yeah.
Is that per episode? Son of a bitch! Like, there's so many like little TV shows like that. Like I still haven't seen The Little Drummer Girl with Florence Pugh and the part Tim Wook did.
I'll give you a little sneak peek. I don't know why my USB keeps coming unplugged. Here, I got a picture of Tim Roth as Christie. He looks good.
Shaved his head. I know Burrow wore a bald wig.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was going to say. You could totally tell he was wearing a bald cap. Because it looked like he had there he is. It looks good.
Yeah, I have to see that because Tim's one of my favorite top 10 actors.
Yeah, I might have to partake myself because I really love the movie. Honestly, I think I'd like to add it to my collection. And I was telling while you were gone, I was telling them I was like, I was not looking forward to watching this at all because it wasn't in the right headspace or whatever, you know. And then I watched it, I'm like, holy fuck, what a good movie, good pick.
Yeah, like you said, I don't know why this doesn't come up because conversation, or not just. But again, like his performance is so chilling. It's one of the scariest performances I've seen of a killer in a movie, and just a lot of layers to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think when we go around the table to talk about it, I can't believe we have a half an hour left on the show, and we've talked a lot about this already. But man, I 100%. It's streaming on Amazon Prime right now if you're a Prime customer for free. So if you got it, check it out. It's totally worth watching. I'll put these up on our Facebook page, and I have Morgan put them up on our Twitter page. But I absolutely 100% recommend this movie. It's really fucking good. It's got kind of a slow burn feel, which I love, and Richard Attenborough is brilliant, and so is John Hurt.
Seth did a post yesterday. It definitely has a very Hitchcockian vibe to it, for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't mind. Did I see? I guess I haven't been on Facebook almost at all the last couple of weeks.
It just there's some similarities to Frenzy. If you've seen that.
Frenzy. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
You know.
Been a while since I've seen that. I have to rewatch that.
But I think of course, Hitchcock. He's really good at like suspenseful scenes. So like, Frenzy has a lot better scenes of suspense. Like,
well, I mean, it's a Hitchcock movie, first of all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just like
suspense.
Yeah,
yeah, like the scene with the body in the potato sack in the back of the truck in Frenzy. It's so fun. What were you gonna say, Nate?
Yeah, like you said, Hitchcock he comes to these films for that purpose, for the scenes and the suspense, and how he can manipulate and build those things where not necessarily sure that was the goal. Like this, I don't know if Hitchcock did so much in terms of Hitchcock would always stylize things. This wasn't too stylized. It was like Hitchcock was more about the storytelling and the filmmaking, like you said. Like Frenzy has more of that going on than this. This is more of like you were talking about. I wanted to touch on that what you brought up about 70s film, and why you get a lot of people saying that the 1970s and the horror filmmakers and the thrillers were so much better is because there really weren't that many restrictions at that time of filmmakers for the first time were able to really push envelopes and go to dark places. I mean, Richard Attenborough, the shit he's doing in this movie, he's like, we didn't see that shit before this. I mean, it was like really intense. And like I said, the unlikable character, I get so frustrated when people say, I didn't like the characters. I can't sympathize if I don't like the characters. And the 70s really did dare to have characters who were awful people, and we would focus on those people the whole movie. I mean, my favorite movie is Taxi Driver. Travis Bickle's a horrible person who does horrible things and has horrible thoughts, and he's racist, and he's there's all these horrible things, and he's the prime focus of the movie. And I don't know if you could make those. I mean, we get them. I remember like Nightcrawler is one of the closest in the last 20 years, and I had people say they couldn't stand Nightcrawler because they didn't like Jake's character. They thought he was just creepy and just
Yeah, but that's just a testament of how good he did too. I need to watch Nightcrawler. It's on Netflix, so I'll have to watch that one. I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, if you like this type of stuff, Jake will make you rethink Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie because it's
good. I like that.
He's one of the most sinister people I've seen in a movie.
They have a region-free Blu-ray of 10 Rillington Place for $14. I think I'm gonna buy it. It's got to be in the collection. In my opinion.
Yeah, I want to add it to mine.
I'm still stunned. I'd never seen it.
Man, this is one of those movies that when you were gone again, I was like, I can't believe we've been sleeping on this for 50 years. I didn't even know it existed until you came up with it. But did you find this when you were going through trying to figure out how many movies you've seen overall? Is that?
Yeah, I was counting down horror movies that I'd seen, and I'm looking at like 70s, 80s, and 90s, thinking, oh, I've seen a whole lot of shit. And I'm looking at it going, there's so much shit I have not seen from those 3 decades. And like things I never even heard of. And I'm like, how's that possible? And then I started really like I've really like looking at like putting the perspective because I'm one of those people where people say, is there anything you haven't seen? I'm like, of course there is.
Yeah.
Because I've usually seen a lot.
Just a few.
And so, but I've always said, there's no fucking way. I will never live to see everything that's made, okay? And it would be impossible. And so, like, I've been counting down every movie I've seen. And I'm at 2009, starting from like 1902 or something to now, to 2009. And I'm at around like 5,000 movies.
Oh my God.
Or or a little over 5,000. And I'm thinking like that sounds small to me.
That does.
But it seems low to me. But because I'm looking at IMDb, that's how I'm finding all the movies. There are years, single years, where 5,000 movies came out in a year.
That's insane.
I'm talking about worldwide. Yes.
Well, worldwide, that's
so.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like there are thousands of movies made every year, and I've only seen in my 46 years of life as a avid film fan.
But,
I've only seen about probably 7,000 movies.
Nate, let's put it in perspective though. But how many of these are really worth watching?
Yeah, I've said that too. Like, there's a lot of shit. Like, I'm looking at it. There's a lot of assignment terrors.
Right. Let me just say, I've got a stack of Wild Eye production movies that I got from Horror Hound. They were like 2 for $5. Remember that, Jared? I got a stack of them. None of them are worth watching, but I've seen them. So.
Yeah. But it also goes to show you how fucking amazing it is that your movie breaks through all of that. Like, we when people see something like Get Out or whatever the hell movie, and they go, "This is complete shit." I'm like, dude, no, there were 5,000 movies made last year that were shit, true shit. Okay, like just for a movie to get into the public consciousness and be in the conversation at all is a miracle. And for an independent film, like we can sit here and talk about Terrifier. Hey, I don't like it. I like it. It's a miracle that Terrifier got the attention it got. Out of all the independent horror films that are made every year, they achieved something, and that deserves respect. So, like when I see stuff like The Battery or Murder Party or things like that, like, dude, give it up because
Party Massacre 3.
Yeah, even that, man. There's so many independent horror movies that no one will ever fucking hear of or see. And so if you've got people in horror groups talking about your independent horror movie, you've won, because there is so much that will never even reach that. So it really puts in perspective.
I would like to think that THS Live helped put Terrifier on the map when we had Art the Clown on.
Yeah, we had David on. He's a good guy. Would you guys mind talking? I'd like to revisit that, maybe talk about that one of these days, because I watched it and I was brutally honest about how I didn't like it. It has no story. Art the Clown's a fine character, but I'd like to talk about that one day if we ever get time. So Nate, I wanted to ask you. I was looking up pictures earlier. So in September, about a month from now, we're going to do 2 more movies. You talked about a movie called Delirium. Is that from 72, 79, or 87, or 2018? There's 4 movies called Delirium.
79.
Okay, 79.
It's a 1979 movie. I was listening to Quentin Tarantino has a new podcast with Roger Avery named after the video store they worked at back in the 80s, Video Archives. And Quentin bought all of the VHS tapes from Video Archive when they went out of business. So he has the whole collection. And like Quentin, everybody thinks Quentin's seen everything. There's a lot of movies he's never seen or never watched, even movies you would think he would have seen. like they just did Moonraker. He said he'd never watched Moonraker because he thought it was going to be stupid and shitty, and he never
Moonraker's
watched it.
awesome.
So they did like Moonraker and Firefox, and then the first episode they did.
Firefox with Angelina Jolie.
No, the Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh.
And they did. Shit, what was the first two? They did Dark Star, John Carpenter's Dark Star, and shit, I can't remember what the other one was, but they talked about Delirium quickly. They didn't talk a lot about it, but neither of them had ever seen it, and they said they had no idea what it was. They popped it in, and they were just like, "Holy shit!" Like there's so many holy shit moments. So many like, "Whoa." They were blown away by it. They encouraged everybody to see it, but do not look into it. Do not watch the trailer. Don't read nothing. Just go into this thing without any clue. I was like, oh, I have to see this now. And it's on YouTube. So I definitely want to do that for the next episode.
Okay, so I pulled up.
Time we do this.
All I could find was this. I have no idea what's happening here, but this is from that movie. She looks like she's talking to
the kitty cat.
Yeah, and then the other one, and I actually, we talked about it the other day when you brought it up the first time, Nate, and Jared had seen it. I went ahead and grabbed a copy because it has Edward Finnick in it, who I'm in love with. And here, it's, if anybody can't read that, it's Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have a Key. What a fucking title! There she is, and she's naked.
Yeah.
She's a beauty.
I heard there's a
naked at least once and everything. She's
yeah, she is.
A lot of nudity in that one. I can't remember how that one came across my radar, but it was
Sergio Martino.
I heard it was amazing. It's got like 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, oh well, that doesn't happen every day. So, and I just kept hearing a lot of good things about it. So yeah, I want to see that. I know Jared said he saw that one.
Yeah,
well, Jared had a resident Gialli curator.
Yeah,
so.
And it came in an Edgar Allan Poe set because there's a black cat that is a theme in that. It was a set that came with Lucio Fulci's Black Cat. So yeah, kind of.
Well, I will say I'm a big fan of Sergio Martino films, so I'm definitely in on this one.
I guess I always kept getting Delirium mixed up because there is another Delirium that Lamberto Bava did too.
There are 4 of them. There's one from 87.
This one's listed as a slasher film. It's from 1979. It's got like a bald guy with sunglasses on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the cover I found. They released it. It's $3 to rent on Vudu, Amazon, whatever. But they Severin released it, so I'm tempted to just buy it. Blind buy it, because everything
you got the guy that
has been good. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, you got Tarantino and Avery saying you have to see this. It's kind of like, okay, I have to see this.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I got a lot of respect for Tarantino for sure, and if he says, "Hey, check this out," it's like maybe I should.
He also did recently say that he thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was better than Last Crusade. So
what?
Yeah, that was a. He said
he's like the toasty guy from Mortal Kombat coming in.
He came in. Yeah, that was always. He said that the Temple of Doom was Spielberg's best movie, and Last Crusade was awful.
No, Last Crusade's awesome. That's my favorite.
Wow.
Okay, I give up on Tarantino. I've never watched.
He is that type of dude, though. He will say one thing, and then 10 years later, he'll say something completely different, probably about the same thing.
This has a really low rating on IMDb, Nate. Delirium 4.3.
What does?
Delirium.
Which one?
79.
All I know is probably a what the fuck type movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a movie that critics probably like.
It's also
what
known
they were
as Psycho
saying,
Puppet,
but it seems like it's one of those like. Well, I think that's what it is. Like, it's supposed to be really wild and crazy, and have some really like. It's totally violent, brutal stuff. I just found out
it's on England's Video Nasty list, so I definitely have to watch it now. I absolutely have to watch it.
I was gonna say you could fart screen in 1981 and it would show up on the Video Nasty list. Whatever.
Anything from Italy showed
They
up
were
on
such
the
pussies
video
over there in
nasties.
England in the early 80s.
It's true. It's true. God, we should just look up, do some video nasties too. Look up the list and see what's on there, and go through some of the ones we've never seen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this again
On there.
because your Vice as a locker room has been on my list of things to watch for a long time. I just watched the Case of the Bloody Iris the other day. Pretty good. Good giallo. But yeah, so is your room, is that, it doesn't matter to me, but is it streaming somewhere? I bet it's on Shudder.
One of the
You
two
have to
were
rent it
streaming
somewhere.
for free, and one of them was like $2.99 somewhere. I want to say that one's streaming. It's not free anywhere. The Giallo movie.
You ever seen the Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward? It's another Edwidge Fenwick movie. Yeah, it's on Shudder.
Sergio Martino.
I love Sergio Martino's films. He's a really good Italian director. Here, check this out. Bam. The Strange Colors of Your Body's Tears. That's all. What a great name.
It's a good movie.
Is it? No one heard the scream. Have you guys ever seen that one? How about Cannibal Man?
I actually bought Cannibal Man on
No, you didn't.
Severin. Severin had a DVD clearance sale this week. I
why
just
didn't you tell
bought
me?
Cannibal Man.
Oh, this is a Spanish one.
Oh, it's
These guys
because
really
they're
pissed
all
off.
picked through.
These filmmakers
year
really
after-
pissed off like 70s guys who ran theaters, had to put the titles on the fucking marquees.
I think I passed on.
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
I'm sure.
That one was available too.
Well, Nate,
God damn, there's 20 words in this fucking title.
No one heard the scream. We can check that one out too. I've never seen that. It's on Shudder.
Is it?
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, I'm on Shudder now, so
Nice.
it's Spanish.
Okay, yeah. So Severin had a DVD clearance. I got Sante Sangre, the Jodorowsky film.
Oh
Cannibal
yeah,
Man.
I added that on. What's that?
Say Profondo Rosso, Jared.
Profondo Rosso.
I needed to hear it.
And then a folk horror movie called The Devil's Reign that has William
Oh,
Shatner,
I've seen that. Have you guys seen that?
Ernest
I've
Borgnine,
seen that one. And
I
John
watched that earlier this
Travolta.
John Travolta. It looks
John
terrible.
Travolta plays. He's an extra in it, and they dubbed over his voice.
I was gonna say he's in it because I didn't remember him being in it.
It's like his first acting credit.
Was
He's
it?
like
He's
one
an
of the
extra.
cult members.
There's another one called Eyes of Fire that I got, and then the last one was just
Eyes
a
of
shit
Fire
movie.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I heard that's
seen
like
that?
one of the underappreciated folk horror ones.
It's really got some creepy shit and really interesting stuff in it.
Maybe we should do Devil's Reign one of these days too. That's another one I'd like to revisit. I watched it January probably for the first time. Wasn't too bad.
I saw
Ernest
it back
Borgnine
in the
did.
mid.
Is Tom
Saw it
Skerritt
back
that
in like
one?
90.
Yeah, Tom
Saw it like
Skerritt's in it too.
94.
I think it's on fucking Amazon, Nate. If you want to check it out.
What's funny is Tarantino brought that one up too.
I just like the
That's
title. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I watched it. All right, Seth, what were you doing over there in the corner, hiding?
I like Borgnine.
I was having a smoke.
Oh, okay, that's okay. That's acceptable.
I need some Pepto Bismol and a smoke myself.
I need the boil order to get that we're under to get over with because I want to take a shower.
La, la, la. You guys
Anyways,
have a boil
yeah.
order?
Yeah, we're under a boil order. Yeah, I was outside having a cigar last night about 10 o'clock. Lovely night too last night, and I'm sitting there just chilling on the porch smoking a cigar, and I hear pop. Fuck was that? So I finished my cigar, go in and take a shower, and I got plenty of water pressure from the shower, and washed myself and everything. But then I took a piss in the toilet, and I flushed the toilet, and the water didn't come back. I'm like, what the fuck? you know. And I turned on the faucets, and the water's just like trickling. I'm like, what the fuck? And then this morning I found out we're under a boil order because of the sewer main. Water main. So yeah, we're not allowed. We're supposed to be conserving water, so we can't even take showers in Collinsville. So I'm gonna smell tomorrow. I got bottles of water. Maybe I'll just douse myself in bottles of water. And anyway,
I was gonna do
so
hobo shower.
let's do that. Okay, so we got 3-1 on not recommending. What is it? Assignment Terror. If you like, okay, I will say this: if you like really shitty movies, it's for you. Seth, I'm looking at you, buddy.
Some of us can find interest in anything.
That's true. It's true. I mean, I do like bad stuff, but that one was just, I couldn't. When Helena doesn't like it, I know it's bad. Okay. So anyway, let's do. I already know it's gonna be a clean sweep, but let's do 10 Rillington Place because I'll start. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. John Hurt, fantastic. Richard Attenborough, phenomenal. It's then great set pieces because they use the actual place. It's a lovely movie. It's streaming on Amazon Prime, so check it out if you get the chance. Jared, you're next.
Yeah, I think the name says it all. 10. I give it a 10.
So you recommend it?
I definitely recommend it. And like you said, like we both knew they're good actors going into it, but they just completely cemented it as even being better actors because, like,
especially when they're on the screen together.
Yeah, like I mean, I wasn't fully with John Hurt and Beryl's relationship, but I think that was supposed to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't always on the best of terms with each other, but the acting was phenomenal in it.
And yeah, it really was.
Even Christie's crocodile tears at the end of the trial. I was like, oh my God, really? Come on. Nobody.
I like the last scene when the cop is like, what are you doing? You got your job papers? And he gives him a fake name. He's like, take your hat off. He knows who he is then, because they're looking for him. Also, the reveal, we didn't talk about the reveal of when he sells his flat or whatever. He sells the place, and the mover guy knocked to the wall, and there were like, what, 3 or 4 bodies in there?
Mm-hmm.
That was a good scene. Like, and I like the expression of the mover. He's sitting there like he looks like he's completely worn out from seeing those corpses in that wall. Anyway, Nate, what about you? Recommend or not recommend? Yeah, he's frozen. Seth, recommend or not recommend?
Oh, I definitely recommend it. I think it's a really well done, really well made movie. Again, I didn't know it was based on a true story.
Not till the end.
Knowing that it is a true story, it actually kind of makes it all that much more almost heartbreaking in a way. Mm-hmm. To know these people really went through this. Great performances. Great performances, definitely. I think they were the highlight of the movie. Mm-hmm. And I was definitely enthusiastic after watching it. And like you, I'm probably going to look into getting it to add to my collection.
I got to put it in the collection. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Nate, you with us? It's too bad we're not taking screenshots of what the looks on his face like we with Seth when he was like yelling or whatever it was. No, you weren't. You just looked angry, right?
I wasn't yelling. I was just like being animated with my arms, and I froze up.
And I have to find that picture because that should have been your profile picture.
I made it my profile picture for a while.
You did?
Yeah, just to make fun of
myself. Go back and look, and actually let me look on Facebook because I want to find it real fast because it was amazing.
That was back around when it first happened. I made it my profile like right when you sent me that.
It made me laugh so hard because it caught you in that position, and you look so pissed off.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it real fast because it's definitely worth watching or looking at. You're a handsome dude, Seth, especially when you look like you're angry. Oh my God, Seth! You change your profile picture like every other day. No, I'm joking. I just saw Michael Myers from Part 6. Is Nate back yet? Yeah. There's a picture of you in a Horror Syndicate sweater with giving the bird. Oh, he has reviews. Nate, are you with us, Nate? He's got reviews. I want to hear
Trying to
them.
come back.
Yeah, I don't see it, Seth. I don't see the.
It was a while. I probably still. I'll send you the picture if you want.
I want to put it. I want everybody to see it. Yeah.
Is it because I recommended Assignment Terror? Just be an asshole.
No. I don't. I think that's a funny picture, because like it made me like when like catching you at the right that like it froze at the right second and it just made me laugh so hard because it was that second. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't believe it.
There's times where I've watched like past episodes of these shows that we've done,
Yeah.
just on a whim, and at the times where I was like really glitchy, like I had the worst faces possible.
That's when it happens too, is when you're making the weirdest and sometimes the dumbest faces,
Yeah.
Like I remember our old show, I had a few like that. I'm like, oh, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Is that my taking a shit face?
Yeah.
Lots of memes on your face. Okay, I give up. I'm not gonna look anymore. All right, Nate's back. I think he's outside. Nate, you ready to do your reviews outside?
I have to go outside, man. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Yeah, some Rillington reviews. Let's see. These are 1-star reviews. So, let's see what we got here. Okay. Coco Left says, over the top violence. Too violent. I threw it away after watching it for 5 minutes.
Too violent?
Wow.
Meg, 1 star. Not worth the rental fee. It was weird and stupid.
Weird and stupid. That's the way to do it.
Sonny Burnett, 1 star. Nah, weird and stupid. Sonny Burnett, 9 Rillington Place, more like it. I've seen better films starring David Attenborough. My favorite is the one with the dinosaurs, Jurassic Park. This was a bit slow.
The one with the dinosaurs.
David, who's David Attenborough?
The one with the dinosaurs.
Nope. I love that they had the name. The one with the dinosaurs, Jurassic Park. Nope. I tried twice to watch this movie and failed both times. I don't know when people say they failed to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I tried it twice. It was slow and terribly boring. I read some of the positive reviews. You must have been watching different movies. It's another one of my favorites. We must have watched a different movie. 2 stars. Really bad filmmaking. Couldn't even get through it. Tell me what's so bad about the filmmaking.
I thought it was filmed
2
really
stars.
well.
I was very disappointed with the film. The doctor murdered about 10 people, but the film spent so much time on the murder of his upstairs neighbor that it only had time to finish with the murder of his wife. I shall have to get the book now to read about the other murders. So this person's mad that they focused on the John Hurt character in that line of having all 10 murders.
So yeah, so they're in it for the kills then.
Old
That's
movie,
pretty good.
slow and monotone. Really old movie, kind of. What's that? Really old movie, kind of slow and monotone. I would have rather seen it played out in 30-minute forensics files format. I would recommend unless you have already seen everything else on Amazon.
That's terrible.
10 Rillington Place. A good movie, well done with good acting. The only downside, if you call it, that is that it doesn't have any exploitation or sex scenes. It shows killing, nothing else. No rapes or sexual abuse. But overall,
Sounds like somebody's a deviant.
I know what I'm disappointed in.
What's
I'm
that?
disappointed in these reviews.
Yeah, they're not great. And plus, Nate's having trouble.
I mean, I love the bad reviews. I'm just disappointed when like not one of us can really find something bad to say about the movie, but all these people manage to find something to say bad about it, just like they feel like they need to. Yeah, it wasn't a dinosaur movie. Okay.
Nate says he gives up for the night.
Yeah, he's had some bad connections the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it from his phone now, and I wonder if that has something to do with it because of his back situation. You know. Anyway, well, this was a good episode. I enjoyed talking about. I enjoyed talking about 10 Rillington Place anyway. But I think that was a clean sweep, and I like that we're doing this now. Something different than what we were doing before. Looking forward to doing Delirium, and Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key. What a great title. Don't spoil it for us, Jared. I'm going to watch it soon. We'll do that in September. But next week, we are going to discuss the 1992, probably one of the best horror films in the 90s, Candyman. We might sprinkle in some Farewell to the Flesh as well. Maybe probably won't talk about Day of the Dead. That's on the schedule for next week. And then I can't remember what's after that. But I can check if you guys want to, if anybody cares. But I also want to make sure to tell everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like on Facebook. We are 10 likes away from 19,000. Isn't that crazy? Let's see. Candyman and The Haunting or The Innocents for 2 weeks from now, and then
the 60 movies.
Yeah, the ones Nate wanted to do. So, and then the 20th we'll do.
The Weeping Willow.
September 27th we're going to do the Universal classic Creature from the Black Lagoon, and probably its 2 sequels. Going into October, where we're going to be talking about a lot of Universal horror, because why not, right? Universal horror is something that when I think of October and think about horror movies, Universal horror is one of the things I think about. I think Seth agrees with that. Jared probably does too.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I
until
watch
then,
Universal like all year round anyway.
I know you do, but like until then, check out thehorrorsyndicate.com. We've got a lot of new content up. I'm up through the 1970s. I've got a 1970s top 10. I've been doing a lot of top 10 lists. I did a Friday the 13th, what should be the 13th movie? My idea. I ranked the Elm Street movies per how I feel about them. Seth has done subspecies rankings. He's done the Tremors rankings. He's done a review on the Underworld movie. He doesn't just rank them. He's not lazy like me. He ranks and reviews. I'm lazy as fuck. I just write, this was a good movie, or whatever.
Here's my list.
Here's my list. Go fuck yourself. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happening on horrorsyndicate.com. Check it out. Jared's bringing back Bloody Streaming Roulette, which I'm excited about because that was one of my favorite segments from before. And the biggest purpose for the Horror Syndicate, like I got the stutters now. Sudden, can you get it out, Bill? Bill. Anyway, one of the biggest reasons the Horror Syndicate was started was to try to get people to watch other movies other than A Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th and all this other stuff. There's a lot of great horror out there, and Bloody Streaming Roulette was one way to kind of showcase some of these movies. And I know some people that those articles still get a lot of views, Jared. I don't know if you knew that or not. So, but anyway, yeah, we got
stats, but I'm glad.
We got like a backlog of 1,300 different articles. So just look at the Horror Syndicate is huge in October. Get there now. Start making your lists for what you're going to watch in October. Make sure you add Universal Horror. Seth, have you made your list yet?
No, not yet.
I don't even know who you are.
Hey, me neither.
Yeah, I haven't made my list yet. Last year, I made it a goal that I wanted to watch 50 different horror movies in October, and I did it. And a lot of them were Universal, so they were only like an hour long anyway. So it worked out really well. Plus, I had this little DVD player somewhere around here, portable flip up screen. I took that to work with me, and when I was at lunch, I was watching things. I watched a lot of Hammer stuff I hadn't seen, like Phantom of the Opera. I want to dig into the other Hammer mummy movie. I think there's two of them. Is there two of them?
I think there's more than that.
Is there more than that?
Yeah, I got 3 of them. I got I got the first one, the one with Peter Cushing, and then there's the one where I got a double that I'm going to be sending you at some point. Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. I think they did that one, and then there's another one that's on the. I have a 2-pack Blu-ray for the Revenge of Frankenstein, and there was a mummy movie in there too.
One of these days, we're gonna have to dip into the Hammer again. That episode that you and I did was Horror Dracula and Frankenstein. That was a fun episode. I love talking Hammer. Anyway, that's it. I got nothing else to say. Seth or Jared, where'd Jared go?
I'm right here.
Hey, why don't you give us some quick final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
So, quick storyboard. You can avoid the assignment terror. Because like I said earlier, that felt like a chore or an assignment just to get fucking through. Good God. But yes, I don't say this lightly when it comes to a lot of movies because I know a lot of people don't really have the same type of tastes for horror movies, like that girl's face.
I almost forgot to put that up today.
A lot of people don't have the same tastes as us, or there may be like more extreme stuff like that, like Dennis Quaid's armpits.
Yeah.
But 10 Rillington Place, I think, has something any horror fan could enjoy. Like, I wouldn't necessarily consider it a true horror film. It is a really good suspense. But the fact that it is a true story it makes it a horror film 100%.
This is a horror film. And, I mean, it's a horror film. There's no doubt in my mind. And you know how I am about that. If it's not labeled a horror film,
I was actually surprised that you were on board with it because I know how slow it is, and it doesn't seem like a horror movie.
Well, no, I like slow burn type movies, and like we've been talking about, the thing that really captured me with this was the performances from Hurt and Attenborough. There was just there's no way you couldn't get into this. I'm confused as to how you couldn't watch this movie and not be like engrossed into, especially that scene when they're on screen together. It's really great. Sorry to go ahead, David.
No, you're good. I was basically about done anyways with what I was saying. Anybody that likes thrillers, suspenses can find something to enjoy with 10 Rillington Place. Like, I was thoroughly enamored by it and completely dumbfounded that I had never heard of this fucking movie.
Yeah. Seth, what about you, man? What do you got? Your final thought. Jared's outside now too. I feel like I need to go outside.
Yeah. My final thoughts. Assignment Terror is a bad movie. By all means possible. And mainly, I felt like it took too much from some of the earlier Universal crossovers, and it just they kind of dumbed it down. The whole thing with the aliens. I mean, there was a lot of stuff.
You found it.
Yeah, I found it. And so I'm curious about seeing more Paul Naschy, Belushi, whatever werewolf movies for sure.
You got to review that one, dude. You got to.
I'm going to. I think I might watch Fury of the Wolfman tonight. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure on that. But 10 Rillington Place, it blew me away because one of the things I told Nate actually when you went to go to the bathroom earlier is basically almost the same thing with you, where when I went to go watch it last night, I wasn't in the mood for it. I wasn't feeling it. I was just like, do I have to watch this now? I'd rather watch something I've seen 400 million times.
Right.
And it just it sucked me in, and it's mainly
There it is. Karate chop.
Karate Chop Seth.
yeah. Yeah, it's the characters and the acting, especially, made it worth it.
Yeah, totally.
So it was
Yeah.
these were good choices. I like they're polar opposites of each other, and
Yeah. I need to find that video from Cinemassacre and send it to you guys when he talks about this movie, because I had heard of it when I didn't know it was Assignment Terror, but anyway, Seth, is there anything else you need to say before we go?
no, not at all.
Whoa. Whoa.
Can you handle
All
that?
right. Huh?
Can you handle that?
I don't know. I can't. I can't handle that. I'm not ready for this jelly. Anyway. All
Evil
right. Again,
Dead
next week we'll be back with Candyman from 1992. So watch that if you're going to watch the show. Thanks for watching, everyone who did watch. We always appreciate it. Help us get to 19,000 Facebook page likes by liking the page or telling your friends about us, because we have a lot of fun. We likes to potty. Have a good night.